Okay.
Okay.
Again, so I'm going to try and get into Sandhills Recording Studios. So I'm Richard Garland, that's my number and such. So as the name suggests, it's based in Sandhills. It's in a 19th century cotton warehouse, just a 5-minute walk from the station. They do mainly band and music-related recordings. They've got 4 main recording areas, the biggest being 1,000 square foot live room, but they've also got a natural reverb chamber that's become quite popular with clients. They've also got a green room or client lounge with a TV, Xbox, DVD player and sofa, and kitchen with dining facilities. So inside the control room, they've got a nice shiny SSL mixer, 24 channel. I'd like to use that. Pro Tools HD with 2 rack interfaces, probably bloody expensive. 2-track tape machine and 6 different monitor systems, including PMCs and Yamahas. Backline, they've got Mesa Boogie, Marshalls, and Fender guitar amplifiers, along with a 1968 Ludwig classic drum kit. They've also got 29 different microphones to choose from, including 4 57s, a Neumann U87, and AP414s. So they've had clients such as Universal and Island Records being like some of the major labels, but they've also had musicians like Elvis Costello, Claire Sweeney, Amsterdam, and Liz Clannon. I guess I'm saying that. So they've got their web page where you can make a booking. They've got all the information on there for contacting them. But you can also organise a free tour of the place if you want to before you buy. They've got Facebook, Twitter, the actual studio has Facebook and Twitter accounts, but the producer there also has his own SoundCloud that uses for the studio as well for advertising. So to try and gain placement, I'm basically going to book a free tour there. So that I'm part of a band that's looking for a good studio to record in, because it's better than use my own home equipment. While I'm there, I mentioned that I'm a music and audio production student, I'll try and bring up the topic of if they've got any placement opportunities going, and try and evolve it from there. On my CV as well, I've also talked about BBC radio play experience that we're still doing, but either way it's experience. Shiverpool, where I've done a sound loop for that and an answer machine message. Recorded behind Castles for Breakdown. Assisted on recording for a TV documentary. Did a live album for the Bike and Skiffle group and Soft Big Bang. I've also talked about how I'm able to use Pro Tools 10. I've got my own copy and A-level electronics. So before I actually approach any companies inside Liverpool, mainly Sandhills, with my CV, I'm trying to search issues that I'm not really going to actually go for. It's just see how my CV is actually received and how my email templates are received, what kind of responses I get back. So far I've sent 10 emails using these templates. And that's it. Any questions?
Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask about? Especially if any of you are interested in going to a studio or something, you may have some tips or some comments. It doesn't have to be questions. Have a think. If you come up with a question, please ask it. Have you been there? Yeah.
Not yet.
No, so you haven't been there. And your progress towards getting a placement anywhere is where would you say you were up to in the process?
I've emailed the 10 studios. I'm still waiting for replies from them though, so I'm going to have to email a few more this week. I'm going to need to start telephoning studios as well instead of just emails. So that's received.
I mean, you've got lots of stuff. I mean, we chatted about it the other week, didn't we? There's lots of things you could do with phone calls and stuff. Just you phoning up just to find the name of a person, and you could phone up and you could go, I'm after a replacement, who we need to speak to. But you could also maybe say, skirt around it and still get the right name, the email. So you might try an approach of say, does the studio offer any educational facility of any description? And it does. And what person coordinates that? Do you know what I mean?
I've been trying to find the actual email of the producer there rather than just the studio. Where possible.
Yeah, get the engineers. Just go back one slide to your template letters. I'm just giving you sort of a bit of feedback about this. And it might help everyone else. When Richard was discussing this, he didn't quite get there to using this wording. But what he could have said was he's sending these emails to places, but he's not really that bothered if he gets in, because in fact if you did get in, you might turn it down anyway because it's quite far away from Liverpool. So what I suggested, this was I think something we chatted about, is that if you want to test out your approach, pick studios that say further afield.
Like Edinburgh.
Like, okay, so say like he's got no intention of wanting a placement in a studio in Edinburgh, but if he contacts them in various ways, like say email, telephone, letter, or whatever, he can find out how, like how it works, whether it works or not, or whether he gets anywhere. But the key thing here is possibly you should have said what you were doing with this process is research. It's primary research. It doesn't exist out there. There's no website where it says, here are all the emails over the years that I've approached studios with, where I've got here's the ones that have worked and here's the ones that haven't worked. There's no research probably out there that would give you that information.
I should have said that. I've got 30 different links so far for studios.
Yeah, so that's going to accrue in research. So when I'm marking his final, like when you submit your professional development portfolio of evidence, then all those emails can be just like, well, this was research. It wasn't actually to get me a placement. So hopefully you can see some benefit in that. You might think it's a difficult area to gather research from, but there's absolutely tons of things you can do. And I just thought I'd draw him back to that because it's a good example. Okay.